guys, welcome back, and thank you all so much for supporting my channel. I truly appreciate every single one of you. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jasan. I'm a nurse, a mom, and I'm currently completing my training for infant sleep consulting. On my channel, I share my experiences with motherhood, lots of helpful tips pertaining to mom and baby, and my knowledge to help other parents, especially first-time parents. So if this type of content interests you, then go ahead and subscribe to the channel so we can build a community. In this video, I will be sharing with you 16 factors that may be preventing your baby from achieving quality sleep and keeping you exhausted. If you're noticing that your little one is a terrible sleeper, then one or more of these factors could be the culprit. So I'm going to go over the factors and I'm going to tell you a few ways that you can reduce or resolve this problem. Alright, so let's get started. The number one factor I have here is when us as parents have created no schedule or any form of routine. Routines and schedules become familiar to baby when they're done in repetition. Once you have established your routine and your schedule, after a few days of doing the same thing over and over, you will notice that once you start a particular part of the routine, your baby is going to know what is happening. For example, my son is now 10 months old, and I've had him on a routine and schedule since he was about 3 months old. So he's gotten used to his routines and the schedule. So once his nap time comes around, you'll see that he'll start to become a little bit more fussy and he'll start rubbing his eyes because he knows it's that time. And for his bedtime routine, we keep it very simple. I'll give him a bath, I'll do some mouth care, I'll get him dressed, give him a bottle, read him a story, I pray for him, sing him a nice song or a lullaby, and then I'll put him in his bed. He knows this routine. Once we get started, he'll start to settle down. And by the end of the routine, once I turn the white noise on, he knows it's time for him to go to sleep. The key points to remember when dealing with routines and schedules is that number one, you can start a routine for your baby even when your baby is a newborn. Although when they're this young, it may not seem to make any sense to have them on a routine, their brains are constantly processing new information. And starting them on a routine that early will only build that foundation, making it easier for you to implement healthy sleep habits as your baby gets older. Sleep schedules, on the other hand, should be introduced when baby is between 3 and 4 months old, just when they're leaving that newborn stage but entering that baby stage. Key point number 2 is that your baby's schedules and routine should not be too strict or regimented. Baby schedule may need minor adjustment day by day depending on how long or how short their naps were during that day. You might have to put them to bed a little bit earlier or a little bit later depending on the day they had. Just follow the wake window appropriate for baby's age group. And the third key point here is consistency. Consistency is key. But let's face it, life happens, right? So you will have that one-off day where you're not able to stick to your routine, or you were not able to complete your entire bedtime routine for whatever reason. And that is okay. Just do the parts of the routine that you are able to. The aim is to be consistent more often than not. This way, baby can learn the pattern and to know what to expect. So if you haven't yet started a routine and a schedule for your little one, then you need to get on it. You won't believe the amount of time you'll have for yourself, for your partner, and to get stuff done once your day is more predictable. Okay, so on to factor number 2, which is overtiredness and not following the baby's wake windows. So many parents think if they keep the baby up during the daytime or reduce the number of naps the baby takes, then the baby will sleep like a dream during the night. They also think that putting the baby to bed later means that the baby will be more tired and falls asleep like this. This is a huge misconception. The later you put the baby to bed, the earlier they will wake up. And not only that, they will not get good sleep, They'll wake up several times throughout the night and they may be more fussy, and this is the same behavior you will encounter when you keep the baby up during the daytime and or reduce their recommended number of naps. They'll become overtired, which makes it harder for them to fall asleep and to stay asleep long enough to get that restful sleep they need. While baby is asleep, their brain uses that time to process new information they've received during the day. So quality sleep is critical to your child's growth and development. Now, factor number 3 is inappropriate bedtimes, either too early or too late. And this point goes hand in hand with factor number 2. The ideal bedtime for infants is between 6:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Again, this will depend on the day that the baby has had. Keep in mind that every baby is different. Bedtime for toddlers may be a little bit later, and this is determined by whether or not they still require a nap during the daytime. Remember, babies should go to bed when they're tired, but not when they're overtired. Factor number 4, hunger and low caloric intake. Once baby reaches 6 months old, most babies are capable of sleeping through the night without needing nighttime feedings. With that said, not all babies are the same, and it is completely normal for babies 6 to 9 months to still require 1 to 2 feeds at nighttime. If baby is getting adequate amount of calories during the daytime, which is 24 to 32 ounces of milk, and they are deemed developmentally ready by your pediatrician, then they should be able to sleep through the night. Some babies will just start sleeping through the night on their own, while others will need to be sleep trained to be able to self-soothe and put themselves back to sleep when they wake up during the night. If your baby is now 6 months old or older and you want them to start sleeping through the night, check with your pediatrician to ensure that it is safe for you to start night weaning. Factor number 5 is baby's sleep environment. If this is clustered or busy, a busy or clustered room can negatively impact your baby's sleep. When there is too much going on in baby's room, this will cause your baby to become overstimulated. Ensure baby's room is a calming environment with only necessary items and furniture. Factor number 6 is noise. Some parents think it is the best if they have the baby sleep in a noisy environment so they can get used to it. However, when you do this, you are preventing your baby from getting deep, restful sleep. If baby is not able to enter that REM sleep phase, the brain is not able to process and store information effectively, which can slow your child's physical and mental development. Not to mention, you are setting yourself up to have a grumpy, fussy, tired baby on your hands. Because although they seem to be sleeping through the noise, they are not able to enter that phase of deep sleep. Even myself as an adult, I can't sleep in a noisy environment. So even if I am so tired that I fall asleep, I won't be able to get restful sleep. Place your baby in a quiet room for their naps and at bedtime. And use a white noise in the room if you have other kids that may be making some noise, playing, watching TV, whatever it may be. Or if you have some stuff you need to get done around the house that might be loud enough to disrupt your baby's sleep. You can go ahead and buy yourself a white noise machine if you really want to, but you don't need to. If you have an old cell phone, an iPod, or tablet that you're not using at that time, there are a few apps that you can download that does the same thing a white noise machine would. This is the one that we use. Factor number 7 is baby's play area versus sleep area. Ensure to separate your child's play area from the area they sleep in. As your baby grows, they will start to associate things. When baby is allowed to play in the same area that they're placed to sleep, they will become confused as to what they should be doing and when they should be doing it. Factor number 8 is your baby's room temperature. If baby is too hot or too cold, they will have a hard time falling asleep and staying asleep. You can put a room thermometer in baby's room. This way you'll always know what the temperature of the room is. If you don't have a room thermometer, you can go ahead and check if baby is too hot or too cold by feeling the nape of the neck or placing the back of your hand on your baby's chest. Some people will even check the baby's palms and soles. Now, baby's palms and soles will be cold even if baby's room is perfect temperature because they're not yet able to regulate their own body temperature. So it's best to use the nape of the neck or the chest. A couple signs that baby is too hot: clammy skin, sweating, or flushed cheeks. Or if baby is too cold, you will notice shivering, trembling of the lips, and the goosebumps all over their tiny little bodies. Overall, baby is going to be very fussy if they're too hot or too cold. Normal room temperature for babies: 20 to 22 degrees Celsius or 68 to 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Factor number 9, baby may be feeling unwell. They may be developing a cold, have a ear infection, a fever, a tummy ache, or maybe they just got a needle, among lots of other things, and they may not be able to sleep well. If you suspect that your baby is feeling unwell and you're uncertain of what to do about it, then you need to go ahead and consult your healthcare provider. Factor number 10, change in environment and or people. Whenever there's a change in the environment that your baby is used to, or an unfamiliar person, say a babysitter, attempts to put your baby to sleep, they may have an adverse reaction. Babies get used to people who are around them regularly, and they also get used to their surroundings. So whenever there is a change, this can cause a disruption in their sleep pattern. Some extra comfort and reassurance may help them settle down. Factor number 11 is developmental milestones. Now, this is commonly referred to as sleep regression. This phase is usually frustrating for parents, but if we think about it, it is actually a good thing. Your baby is learning a new skill. How exciting is that? During this time, your baby's brain is rapidly developing. This period is temporary. Just keep sticking to the routine and the schedule you currently have, even if it doesn't seem to be working. The phase will pass and your baby will go right back to their normal habits. Factor number 12 is teething. This can be very painful for babies. It can cause them to become congested. They'll have a runny nose, they might get a fever, they'll have painful, sensitive gums, and it can also disrupt their feeding habits. For pain or fever, your doctor might recommend giving your baby some infant Tylenol, and they also have some numbing gel that you can apply to your baby's gums. Aside from this, you can always put your baby's teething ring in the freezer and give it to them to bite on during the daytime. This will help to soothe that discomfort. Please always consult your doctor before giving your baby any over-the-counter medications. Number 13, medical conditions. Now, your baby may have a pre-existing or undiagnosed medical condition. If your baby has a medical condition that you are aware of, then do your research, read about it as much as you can, and to discuss with your healthcare provider ways in which you can help your baby achieve good sleep. If your baby does not have a diagnosed medical condition, but you're noticing significant changes in your baby's eating and sleeping habits, then you should go ahead and make an appointment with your healthcare provider. Number 14, medications. Just like adults, babies will have side effects to medications. If your baby is on any medication, ensure to do your research to see what the side effects are, just so you know what to expect. Some medications can cause your baby to sleep way more than they normally would, while others will cause your baby to not be able to get enough sleep, especially if it's something like an upset stomach. Number 15, light, both natural and artificial lighting. Darkness causes the body to release a hormone called melatonin. This hormone tells the brain it is time for sleep. Now, light stops the release of this hormone, causing your baby to think it's time to be awake. To prevent this from happening when it's time for your baby to get some sleep, ensure that your baby's room is dark. You can achieve this by using blackout curtains or blinds. There are also some blackout shades that you can use, and they also have some temporary blackout shades that you could just attach to the window. Now, if you're on a budget and you don't want to go and buy blackout curtains or blinds and all these other stuff, you can simply use tape and black garbage bags. Just tape the garbage bags over the entire window, ensuring to cover the tops, the bottoms, and the sides so we don't have any light peeping through. Now, when it comes to night lights, I would recommend not using them at all. The darker the room, the better. Trust me, your infant is not afraid of the dark. Your toddler might be, but your infant is not. They couldn't care less. If you must use a light in your baby's room because you need it to see, use a red or amber light. The reason for this is because light disrupts sleep, especially those night lights that have the different colors and they rotate. Some of them sings. This will overstimulate your baby, making it hard for them to fall asleep. Your baby will sleep best in complete darkness. And finally, number 16, which is sleep training. And this will only be effective if it goes with my first point, which is schedules and routine. Those are the basis of sleep training. Now, babies need to be taught healthy sleep habits. Sleep training your baby will teach your baby how to fall asleep independently without you having to rock or bounce or hold or nurse them to sleep. There are several different sleep training methods, all with the same end goal: to teach baby how to fall asleep independently and to be able to self-soothe. Once baby learns self-soothing skills, they'll be able to fall asleep on their own and to put themselves back to sleep when they wake up in the middle of the night. So if your baby becomes super fussy when it's time to go to sleep, won't settle down, or wakes up several times throughout the night, then one or more of these factors may be impacting your infant's sleep. Don't be afraid to make some changes. You might be pleasantly surprised with your results. Now, this brings us to the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and I was able to teach you something new. Like the video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to my channel for lots more helpful videos just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again in the next one. Bye!